What's the story, Morning Glory? What is the word, Hummingbird? Thank you so much for clicking on my channel and for joining me for this review of Married at First Sight, Season 16, Episode 2, Runaway Groom. I couldn't figure out who the runaway groom was because, as far as I could tell, all the grooms were really happy. So, anyways, let's get started with Kirsten and Shaquille. So this is the moment that we've all been waiting for, because we know that Kirsten had told her bridesmaids that if she didn't like the guy, she was going to turn her head when it came time for the kiss. So, of course, we're all waiting with bated breath to see whether or not she's going to do that. But I'm jumping ahead of myself. So when they get to the altar, you can tell that Shaquille is definitely happy to see Kirsten. He cannot take his eyes off of her. And Kirsten is a very beautiful, attractive woman. Very pretty face, nice figure. She's got those, sultry bedroom eyes. So we understand where Shaquille was coming from, because he was pleased as punch when he saw Kirsten. Now, the whole time, when the officiant is giving all the fun facts about the other party, I'm looking at Kirsten's face, and she definitely looks worried. She looks extremely worried to me. She didn't look happy. Her eyes were not like, just, like twinkling like stars when she was looking at him. So I was like, it seems like she's not really pleased with who she was matched with. So when it came time to kiss, to have the kiss, she definitely turned her head to the side, and somebody in the audience, I'm assuming from her side, was like, "Oh no!" You could hear it so clearly. Someone like, "Oh no," because they knew what was up. So he said that by her not allowing him to kiss her on the lips, he saw that as her putting up boundaries, which he thought was a good thing. He totally respected that. That's what he thought. That's how it came across to him, that she was putting up boundaries, I guess trying to not move too fast. And he said that it was something that was different for him. So he didn't, obviously, he didn't catch the shade that she was throwing him. But hopefully, at some point, he will definitely find out, and I will be there to watch. Kirsten says in her confessional that he is bald and he's younger. So that's 2 strikes. And I'm thinking to myself, girl, he's younger by like 1 year, if that. If even that, he's younger by 1 year. And, she said that was 2 strikes. Girl, what is going to be the 3rd strike? So she said that as far as the positives, she liked his teeth and she liked his personality. And she said that outweighed his exterior look. She said that. She actually said that. She said that outweighed his exterior look. So obviously she doesn't find him physically attractive. So I'm going to keep hope alive and keep my fingers crossed that we're not going to have an entire season of a bride trying to find attraction in her groom. I cannot take that, because the people who sign up for Married at First Sight need to understand it is not about looks. Stop getting hung up on looks. Stop it. If you're going to be the kind of person who's going to struggle with how your partner looks because you didn't get exactly what you wanted, you didn't get your perfect tailor-made guy or perfect tailor-made woman physically, don't sign up for this damn show. This show is about people who are supposed to be matched, who on paper would be great together, and growing to love that person for who they are. So I'm going to be dragging Kirsten this whole entire season if she's going to be talking about how she's struggling to find attraction for her husband. So good luck to Shaquille. Their very first conversation, I thought their conversation went well. The more that I was looking at Shaquille, the more he was growing on me. I hope she doesn't mess this up, because so far he looks like a really great catch for someone like her. He was definitely, you could tell the attraction on his end. It was really, really, really strong. And I hope that she doesn't mess it up, because, and the thing about him being bald, girl, he can grow hair. And nowadays men are buying hair. So that ain't nothing, girl. Don't let a bald head and whatever you consider his exterior looks get in the way of you finding, your forever, finding someone who can really treat you like the queen that you are, because girl, he was looking at you like you were a definite queen. Moving on to Gina and Clint. So when Clint was looking for his suit, now in my previous review, I said that the suit that he chose to wear, it kind of fit him because he's very outdoorsy, adventurous type of guy. So obviously, he wasn't going to choose something really, really formal and stiff and stuffy like a tuxedo with the big old bow tie. He was going to go that route, but I still kind of wish that his suit was a little bit more, give us a little bit of, show us that you're going to a wedding instead of like just leaving work at 5 o'clock from the office. I wish that he could have found, I wish he had like an actual tuxedo. It's okay if he doesn't want to wear a tie or a bow tie or whatever, fine. That's okay. He can casualize a tuxedo, but it just seemed like he had on like a regular suit, he taught biology at the local high school or something. So on their wedding day, he couldn't take his eyes off Kirsten. He couldn't take his eyes off of Gina. I don't know if that's just how he is, like whoever's standing before him, he just looks at them really intently. But the whole entire time that they stood at the altar, Clint could not take his eyes off of Gina. I don't know if she felt how powerfully he was staring at her. Her eyes were kind of like going everywhere. And it looks like she kind of felt uncomfortable, or she couldn't really hold eye contact with him because he was staring at her so intently. So when she read her own personal written vows, he liked the fact that she mentioned the word adventure, because he's all about adventure and traveling and living life to the fullest. And so she mentioned the word adventure in her own personal vows. And so when he heard that word, the bells went off for him. So when they're having their very first conversation after they've exchanged their vows and everything, after they're married, and they're sitting on the couch having a conversation, getting to know each other better, he said that he had mentioned in his confessional that he liked her natural beauty. And I was like, oh, thank God. As dolled up as she was, he still could see her natural beauty through all of that. And he was good with that. And then they find out, through their conversation, they find out that they actually live in the same building. And I'm thinking to myself, how big is this building? Because girl, how could you not notice someone like Clint? Because to me, Clint really stands out with his long hair and his beard. He really stands out. How could you not notice him? And I think they did say they lived in the same building. Because she said to him, I'm surprised I never see you out by the pool. And then he said, well, when everybody's at the pool, I'm at the lake in my boat. So she says she likes the waves in his hair, so that's good. She didn't say anything too negative about his look, which to me is very, very 70s, and I love the 70s. I love the whole entire 70s vibe. I don't have an issue with how Clint looks, but I was wondering if someone who's, a little bit more modern would, kind of have an issue. But she had the big hair. She had the big 80s hair. He's got the 70s look. So, I'm pretty sure that they were like a match made in heaven. And during their conversation, when he was talking to her, Clint never broke eye contact with her. He was staring at her so intently. Like I said, I don't know if that's just how he is with anybody that he talks to, or if he was like staring that hard because he just found her that attractive. Moving on to Nicole and Chris. Now, Married at First Sight producers, what the hell is this? There was a part where they were showing Pastor Cal talking. He was all by himself on the screen, and he was talking. He was saying whatever he was saying of why they matched Nicole and Chris, because it was at the beginning of the Nicole and Chris segment, and they didn't put his name on the screen. They put Dr. Pepper's name. So it was Pastor Cal talking, but then they put Dr. Like, how could y'all miss that in editing? I even caught that, and I'm not even a television editor. But anyways, moving on. So because no one has committed to her, she feels like there might be something wrong with her. Like, she doesn't understand how she's dated a whole bunch of guys, and a whole bunch of guys have told her how beautiful she was, how great she was, but nobody ever wanted to commit to her. So Nicole is kind of like trying to figure out like exactly what's wrong with me. Why doesn't nobody want to marry me? And Nicole kind of gives off to me. Oh, and she also said if Chris isn't automatically drawn to her immediately, she's going to assume that it's going to be because of the way she looks. She comes across to me as someone who probably has low self-esteem or something, and she covers up her low self-esteem with this really big, boisterous, funny personality to hide the fact that maybe she doesn't really think that highly of herself or think that highly of her looks. I do sense some insecurities in Nicole. Because I mean, the things that she was saying, it was like, well, if he doesn't like me right away, it's going to be because, of the way I look and how come nobody wants me and what's wrong with me. And it's like, girl, you have to see yourself as a 10. Maybe you don't see yourself as a 10, and that's why other people don't see you as a 10. But you got to see yourself as a 10. If nobody else will, you need to always see yourself as a 10. There's nothing wrong with you. You are perfect the way you are. So, y'all, when Chris was at the place looking for a suit, every time there was a scene with his friend, the tall guy with the beard, I was like, cameraman, can we spend just a little bit more time on the friend? Because, anyways, moving on. So on the wedding day, before they actually got married, when they're still in their own individual dressing rooms getting ready, they exchange gifts and cards. And so each of their cards has something similar written. So whatever she wrote to him, because she wrote him something, and whatever she was talking about, she was breaking it down in parts, because it said like part 1, part 2, and whatever he wrote to her, he also broke down in parts. So that was another coincidence between them. He gave her a necklace, which was a coincidence because she didn't even have a necklace to wear. He gave her a bracelet with a moonstone, and she gave him a crystal. And when they met at the altar and they found out what each other's name was, they both realized that they had guessed each other's name before they even met. That's another huge coincidence. Before her father walked her down the aisle, her father told her that in the long run, you're not going to get hurt because you're tough. And when he said that, it was kind of bothersome for me, because I'm like, he's basically saying that his daughter shouldn't, no matter what happens, she shouldn't feel hurt, because he sees her this really tough, young lady. And I'm like, Dad, come on. You know that you can't say that. Things are going to happen in this situation that she is going to be hurt about. And it's okay if she feels hurt. So I don't know if her father's the kind of person who's always like, oh, shake it off. Another guy broke your heart. Shake it off. It doesn't matter. You got this. If she wants to feel pain, or if she wants to feel sadness, it's okay. You can't be tough all the damn time, especially when it comes to matters of the heart. So at the altar, I was a little bit distracted by, I'm going to call them doll eyes. I've heard people call them crazy eyes, or she's got wild eyes, but I'm going to call them doll eyes. And the reason why is because her eyes do remind me of a doll. The dolls that have the blinking eyes, and the eyes are really big and the lashes are really thick and long. And when their eyes blink, it's like the lashes go up and down, but the eyes are staring right ahead. That's what her eyes reminded me of. So when I was watching her exchange vows, and anytime there was a close-up of her, I was like so distracted by her intense doll eyes. So in their first conversation together, when they're sitting down talking, getting to know each other better, Chris found her very attractive. He told her that she was beautiful. They seemed to click right away. After they were done talking, they got up and they walked away hand in hand. So Nicole and Chris, y'all are kind of coming out as the front runner as far as the couple most likely to make it, based on what the hell happened on the wedding day. Moving on to Jasmine and Eris. So Eris says he's definitely ready to leave. He's definitely ready to leave his F-boy ways behind him, his player ways behind him. He says he's ready to settle down. Now, hopefully, Eris, you're saying this because it's the truth, and you're not saying this over and over again to try to convince yourself that your player days and your F-boy ways are long behind you. When he was in the store looking for a suit, he mentioned how his father was murdered when he was younger. And because he never had that father figure, he always worried about if he is doing the right things as a man, if he's taking the proper lead as a man, or will he be that proper man in the household, because he never had an example of what a man should do or how a man should lead a household. So he kind of worries about that, if he has what it takes to be a strong enough man, to be a husband, to be a father, to be this manly figure or whatever. So he did talk about that, and that kind of, resonated with me. And we find out that Jasmine's mother was diagnosed with breast cancer, because as she was trying on her dress, her mother was crying, and her mother said, "I'm just so thankful to be here to see you trying on wedding dresses." So, much prayer goes out to her mother that she beats this and she has a very speedy and healthy recovery. So on their wedding day, right before, because we didn't see their wedding yet, so their segment stopped right at the point where they're about to walk down the aisle. So we didn't get to see their actual wedding yet. But right before he walked down the aisle, he's in the back over there talking to cousin Felina. So cousin Felina, she's reared her envious head or her pessimistic head once again. She was wearing green. So I'm like, girl, you wearing green because you're jealous or you're envious of your cousin because he's getting married and you're not? Or what is going on, Felina? This is what he chose to do. Whether he's ready, whether he's not ready, this is the decision that he made. And it wasn't an easy decision to come by. So, girl, why can't you just support your cousin in his decision to want to be on this show and get married to a stranger? I'm pretty sure the majority of the families and friends of the people that are on this show throughout the years have felt like, you're not ready for this. Don't do this. This is a horrible idea. But they were there to support. Okay, that's what being supportive means, Felina. It doesn't matter if you like it. It doesn't matter if you think he's ready. What matters is he made a decision, and as his cousin, as his family member, the spirit of Felina is attacking my throat. As his cousin and as his family member, you need to be there to support him. This is a very difficult thing for him to do. No matter how confident he seems, he's on a television show where the whole world is watching him marry a stranger. He doesn't know what the hell he's going to get at the end of that aisle. He has no idea who it's going to be, what she's going to be about, what she's going to look like. He's taking a chance on whatever, a chance on love, a chance on whatever. So just support him. Be like, bro, you got this. It's going to work out. You're ready. Just whatever. I'm pretty sure his homeboys and other family members are probably, especially his homeboys, they're probably like, we'll give this about 6 weeks and he'll be right back at the clubs with us. But they're there to support and they don't show any type of doubts. Just cousin Felina, I'm beginning to really question, do you want to marry him? Do you want to walk down the aisle with him? What's really going on? So that's where the episode ended. I thought it was a good little episode. I did enjoy it. I'm not going to waste too much of your time. I'm going to respect your time the way Married at First Sight does not respect mine. Okay, I'm going to keep it short and sweet. Thank you so much for joining me. I really do appreciate it. On your way out, please don't forget to rate the video if you like this content. Go ahead and subscribe, and I'll definitely talk to you later. Bye.